From Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia. Silo. Genre: drama. Dystopian. Science fiction. Created by Graham Yost. Based on Silo series. By Hugh Howey. Showrunner Graham Yost. Starring Rebecca Ferguson, Rashida Jones, David Oyelowo, Common, Tim Robbins, Harriet Walter, Avi Nash, Rick Gomez, Chinaza Oosh, Shane McRae, Remy Milner, Alexandria Riley, Claire Perkins, Billy Postlethwaite. Composer Atli Orvarsson. Country of origin United States. Original language English. No of seasons 2. No of episodes 13. Production. Executive producers: Graham Yost, Morten Tildum, Rebecca Ferguson, Nina Jack, Hugh Howey, Fred Golan, Remy Abachan, Ingrid Escajeda, Joanna Thapa, Michael Dinner. Producers: Cassie Pappas, Jessica Blair, Eric Avellino, Ben Braffman, Catherine DiSavino. Production location United Kingdom. Cinematography: Mark Patton, David Luther, Laurie Rose, Baz Irvine. Editors: Hazel Bailey, Christian Sandino Taylor, Keith Henderson, Gene Krupper, Harvey Rosenstock. Running time 41:62 minutes. Production companies: Mimir Films, Nemo Films, AMC Studios, Apple Studios. Season 2. Original release: Network Apple TV Plus. Release May 5, 2023. Present. Silo is an American science fiction dystopian drama television series created by Graham Yost, based on the Silo trilogy of novels, Wool, Shift, and Dust, by author Hugh Howey. Set in a dystopian future where a community exists in a giant underground silo comprising 144 levels, it stars Rebecca Ferguson as an engineer who becomes embroiled in the mysteries of its past and present. Rashida Jones, David Oyelowo, Common, Tim Robbins, Harriet Walter, Avi Nash, Rick Gomez, and Chinaza Oosh also star. Development on a film adaptation of Wool began in 2012. By the end of the decade, the project was shelved, and was picked up as a series by Apple TV and in May 2021. Principal photography began in August 2021 and the 10-episode first season began streaming from May 5, 2023. It received positive reviews from critics, particularly for the world building, production design and Ferguson's performance. In June 2023, the series was renewed for a second season, which premiered on November 15, 2024. 1-2. Premise: in a dystopian future where a community exists in a giant silo that extends 144 stories underground, 10,000 people live in a society bound by regulations they believe are meant to protect them. Cast and characters: Main. Rebecca Ferguson as Juliet Nichols, an engineer who works on the generators in the lowest levels of the silo. Amelie Child-Villers portrays a young Juliet. Rashida Jones as Alison Becker, who works in the IT department in the silo and is the wife of Halston. During their attempts to conceive a child, she becomes suspicious of the silo's true history and how it is governed. David Oyelowo as Halston Becker, the devoted husband of Alison and the sheriff of the silo. Common as Robert Sims, the head of security for Judicial, who maintains order within the silo. Tim Robbins as Bernard Holland, the strict head of the IT department in the silo. Harriet Walter as Martha Walker, an electrical engineer who runs a workshop in the lower levels of the silo and acts as a parental figure to Juliet. Avi Nash as Lucas Kyle, a systems analyst in the IT department who is curious about the world outside the silo. Rick Gomez as Patrick Kennedy, a maintenance worker and former smuggler of relics, objects from the world before the silo. Chinazaush as Paul Billings, the newly assigned chief deputy and a former judicial administrator who is afflicted with the syndrome, a medical condition that causes tremors. Shane McRae as Knox, Season 2, recurring Season 1. The head of the mechanical level in the silo and Juliet's boss. Charlie Coombs portrays a young Knox. Remy Milner as Shirley Campbell, Season 2, recurring Season 1, an engineer who is Juliet's closest friend and colleague. Ida Brooke portrays a young Shirley. Alexandria Riley as Camille Sims, Season 2, guest Season 1, Robert's wife, the mother of their son, and a former raider. Claire Perkins as Carla McLean, Season 2, guest Season 1, Walker's ex-wife who works in the supply department. Billy Postlethwaite as Hank, Season 2, recurring Season 1, a deputy who works in the lower levels. Recurring. Will Patton as Samuel Sam Marnes, Season 1, a deputy who works under Sheriff Halston and closely with Mayor Jans. Ferdinand Kingsley as George Wilkins, Season 1, a computer geek who runs a repair shop. He seeks out Allison for her help to uncover the secrets of the silo. Chipo Chung as Sandy, a clerical worker in the sheriff's department. Matt Gomez Hidaka as Terry Cooper, Season 1, guest Season 2, a rookie engineer in the lower levels and Juliet's shadow. Olatunji If as Teddy, a worker on the mechanical level and one of Juliet's colleagues. Ian Glenn as Dr. Pete Nichols, an obstetrician and the father of Juliet, who has been estranged from him since she was a teenager. Angela Yeo as Molly Cairns, a deputy who works in the mid-levels. Tanya Moody as Judge Mary Meadows, the head of judicial who enforces the pact, a list of rules that all silo residents must follow. Caitlin Zis as Kathleen Billings, Paul's wife and the mother of their daughter. Aki Kotobi as Diego, a watcher monitoring the silo. Steve Zahn as Solo, Season 2, uncredited, the only survivor of the rebellion in Silo 17-3. Guest. Geraldine James as Ruth Jans, Season 1. The elected mayor of the silo. Sophie Thompson as Gloria Hildebrandt, a paranoid woman who became the silo's fertility counselor after failing to conceive a child herself. Sienna Guillory as Hannah Nichols, Season 1, a surgeon and the deceased mother of Juliet. Henry Garrett as Douglas Trumbull, Season 1, an enforcer for judicial who is loyal to Sims. Sunita Henry as Regina Jackson, a former relic dealer and lover of George. Christian Ochoa as Amundsen, a high-ranking raider, a group of armed enforcers working for Sims. Will Merrick as Danny, a criminal hacker who disrupts the IT department's security network. Ross McCall as the Silo 17 Sheriff, Season 2, the leader of the rebellion in Silo 17. Pippa Winslow as Gladys, Season 2, a worker on the mechanical level during Juliet's childhood. George Robinson as Mark Chambers, Season 2, the overseer of a manufacturing workshop. Jones appears in only one episode although credited with the main cast. Oyelowo is credited with the main cast in episodes 1 and 2, and is credited as a special guest star in all subsequent appearances. Episodes. Season episodes originally released. First released, last released. 1. 10 May 5, 2023 June 30, 2023. 2. 10-2 November 15, 2024 January 17, 2025 2. Season 1, 2023. No. Overall no in. Season title directed by written by original release date. 1-1 Freedom Day Mortentildum Graham Yost May 5, 2023. In a massive underground bunker called the Silo, a community thrives without knowing their history, as records were supposedly destroyed 140 years earlier, during a failed uprising. Sheriff Halston Becker tells Deputy Sam Marnes that he wants to go out. 3 years earlier, Halston and his wife Allison receive permission from her doctor to remove her birth control implant, but they are unable to conceive. During this time Allison learns subversive beliefs about the silo from fertility expert Gloria Hildebrandt, and helps IT expert George Wilkins explore a forbidden hard drive dating from before the rebellion. Allison tells a skeptical Halston that those in power are lying to them and that the view on silos screens of a dead outside world is fake. She offers as evidence that her birth control implant was not removed by the doctor, as she just removed herself. Allison declares that she wants to go out, saying these words is forbidden and the punishment is fulfillment of that desire. Allison promises to clean the silo's external camera if the outside is beautiful. Following the silo's pact, Allison is dressed in an environmental suit and exits on her one-way journey. Silo residents watch Allison clean the camera and then collapse, seemingly dead. 2 years later, Halston investigates George's death and meets Juliet Nichols, an engineer who claims he was murdered. 2 Halstons pick Morton Tildum, Jessica Blair and Cassie Pappas May 5, 2023. Halston learns from Juliet that George, her lover, collected forbidden historical relics. Upon learning that George and Allison worked together, Halston agrees to investigate and promises to send Juliet a signal when he finds something. A few months later, Halston leaves the silo and is shocked to see that the outside is lush and beautiful like Allison claimed. He cleans the camera, takes off his helmet, and on camera appears to crawl to Allison's body before dying. Mayor Ruth Jans learns that Halston left behind a statement nominating Juliet to be his replacement as sheriff. Juliet knows that George was looking for a door and tries to retrace his steps in the watery dig space underneath the silo. 3 Machines Morton Tildum Ingrid Escajeda May 12, 2023. Mayor Jans and Deputy Sam descend 144 levels to meet Juliet. Along the way, Jans meets Juliet's estranged father, Dr. Pete Nichols, and Juliet's engineer friend, Martha Walker, for opinions of Juliet's character. Despite the disapproval of Judge Meadows, head of Judicial, and Bernard Holland, head of IT, Jans offers Juliet the role of sheriff. Juliet declines but changes her mind when she's given Halston's badge, which has the word truth carved on the back. Juliet requests that Jans allow the main generator to be switched off for repairs, which has never been done. At shutdown, the silo's screens briefly show a healthy green view of the outside, though no one seems to notice this. With difficulty, the mechanical team fixes the main generator. Before leaving for her new job, Juliet asks Walker to study a camcorder she found among George's relics. Marnes and Jans confess their love for each other, before Jans collapses with blood in her mouth. 4 Truth David Semmel Remy Abichan May 19, 2023. Ruth Jans is dead. Marnes believes she was poisoned, and that he was the real target because they drank from each other's water flasks. Bernard, as mayor pro tem, swears Juliet in as the new sheriff. Juliet asks Marnes to help her investigate George's death, in return for her helping him investigate Jans's death. Robert Sims, of Judicial, tells Marnes that Judge Meadows is ready to remove Juliet as sheriff, but Marnes tells him to let Juliet quit on her own. Later, Marnes is attacked in his apartment. Juliet meets Lucas, a resident who spends late nights in the cafeteria. Juliet finds Halston's file on George but cannot find George's hard drive that Halston confiscated. In a flashback, Juliet leaves home at 13 after the deaths of her mother, Hannah, and younger brother, Jacob. 5 The Janitor's Boy David Semmel Graham Yost May 26, 2023. Sam Marnes is found dead. Paul Billings, Judicial's original choice for sheriff, is made Juliet's chief deputy. Sandy, who works in the sheriff's office, tells Juliet to find Marnes's killer before Judicial picks a scapegoat. Juliet discovers that Doug Trumbull, who works for Judicial, planted evidence to frame resident Patrick Kennedy for Marnes's murder. Sims tells Doug that his father was supposedly a janitor but actually had a secret job that was crucial to the silo's survival. Sims kills Doug before he can be arrested, and Doug is posthumously blamed for Marnes and Jans's murders. Juliet learns that Lucas has been studying the cafeteria's display screens at night to observe the movement of the lights in the sky, silo residents being ignorant that these lights are stars. Walker shows Juliet that the camcorder's technology is more advanced than what is permitted in the silo. Juliet retrieves one of George's relics in the hopes of reopening the investigation into his death. 6 The Relic Bird and Birdie. Eric Avellino, June 2, 2023. Juliet arranges for the relic to be found in Doug's apartment and uses it as an excuse to track down supposed relic dealer Regina Jackson, who turns out to be George's previous lover who bought relics for him. Sims learns about George's connection to the relic and formally confronts Juliet. Bernard accepts Juliet's claim that she didn't plant the relic, but he orders her to stop investigating Doug's motives for murdering Jens and Marnes. Juliet and Billings argue over her difficulty in trusting him, and she reveals that she knows he has the syndrome, a medical condition that should disqualify him from being a deputy. Regina tells Juliet that she didn't report George's hard drive to Judicial, but she did tell the man who knows everything about it, after he threatened her loved ones. Regina gives Juliet a cherished relic she received from George, a children's travel book dating from before the silo. While Juliet browses the book in her apartment, she is watched by a surveillance team that has numerous cameras all over the silo, with equipment much more advanced than the rest of the silo. 7 The Flame Keepers. Bert and Birdie. Jessica Blair, June 9, 2023. Sims is part of the surveillance team and monitors Juliet's movements via the cameras. Juliet seeks out Gloria, who is being drugged on Meadows's order. Despite Juliet's offer to resign as sheriff, Meadows says she can't lift the order. Billings confronts Juliet when she neglects her duties. She tells him about her investigation into George's murder and he decides to cover for her. Lucas tries to kiss Juliet, but she rebuffs him. Bernard tells Juliet that he fears Meadows will move against them and encourages her to find a way to control Meadows. With her father's help, Juliet is able to question Gloria and learns that she is part of the Flame Keepers, a secret group dedicated to remembering the past, whose members are being systematically killed. Juliet's mother befriended Flame Keepers, but Juliet's father obeyed orders to prevent them from having children. Juliet realizes that surveillance cameras are behind the silo's wall mirrors and retrieves George's hard drive from where Halston hid it in Gloria's room. Sims raiders arrive at Gloria's room to apprehend Juliet, who isn't there. 8 Hannah Adam Bernstein, Jeffrey Wong and Ingrid Escajeda, June 16, 2023. Judicial searches the sheriff's office for the hard drive but cannot find it. Juliet retaliates by using Billings' knowledge of the pact to temporarily arrest Sims. While Sims is in custody, Juliet searches his office and finds files on Hannah, Walker, and Shirley Campbell. Hannah's file confirms that Judicial's surveillance cameras are how they knew that Hannah had built an illegal multi-lens magnifier. Hannah and Juliet had believed that Pete told Judicial. Juliet reconciles with Pete, and he tells her that Hannah's subversive behavior and suicide were a response to Jacob's death, which Hannah believed the magnifier technology could have prevented. Juliet is unable to access the hard drive's content. Lucas is too afraid to help and Judicial's checkpoints prevent her from reaching Walker. Bernard finds Juliet and reveals himself to be the true person in charge of the silo and responsible for Jens and Marnes' deaths. Bernard and Sims arrest Juliet, take the hard drive and fraudulently claim that Juliet has asked to go outside. Juliet jumps off the silo's central stairs to escape with the hard drive. 9 The Getaway. Adam Bernstein, Lake Theodalco, June 23, 2023. Juliet escapes and evades Judicial's cameras. Billings investigates Juliet's apartment and finds the children's travel book. He keeps one page but burns the rest. Juliet breaks into Sims' apartment and uses his computer to access the hard drive, on which she finds a video message George made for her. Bernard arrests Lucas and learns the hard drive serial number, which he uses to find Juliet's location. Sims and his raiders rush to the apartment, but Sims's wife allows her to escape. Juliet gets Patrick's help with Danny, an IT contact, to access the hard drive. She watches the rest of George's video, in which he tells her that he loves her and that she needs to find the door underneath the silo. Following George's advice, Juliet, Patrick, and Danny watch a video from a past cleaning, which shows a lush green landscape with birds flying outside the silo. 10 Outside. Adam Bernstein, Fred Golan, June 30, 2023. Juliet has Danny broadcast the outside footage to the silo, but the broadcast is quickly shut down by Bernard. Billings is questioned by Sims on his condition, and Billings later tells his wife that they are making an exception so he can be sheriff. Juliet escapes to Mechanical, where she talks to Walker before being arrested. Bernard offers Juliet a deal: if she will go out willingly, he will tell her what happened to George and ensure that Mechanical will not be punished. Bernard shows Juliet footage of George jumping off the stairs to avoid interrogation. Bernard destroys the hard drive but later recovers the disk, after Juliet mentions a door underneath the silo. Bernard sentences Lucas to the mines. Juliet goes outside and her helmet's display shows the same video footage of a lush landscape from the previous cleaning. She realizes the deception, discovering that the reality is the desolate view on the silo's screens. Because Walker has arranged for the heat tape on Juliet's suit to be of exceptional quality, instead of dying, Juliet climbs out of the crater that surrounds the silo and goes out of view of its residents. She sees dozens of similar craters, each with a silo, and a ruined city on the horizon. Season 2, 2024. No. Overall no in. Season title 4 directed by written by 5 original release date 2/11/1 The engineer Michael Dinner Graham Yost November 15, 2024. In a flashback, the revolution of Silo 17 takes place and its population escapes into the outside world. In the present, Juliet breaks into Silo 17 by climbing through the corpses of its dead inhabitants littered outside the entrance. Juliet explores the silo's upper levels to find it entirely abandoned while the lower levels had flooded. She finds that the bridge leading into the IT department has been destroyed, so she builds a makeshift bridge which collapses after she gets across. In a flashback, young Juliet starts her new life on the mechanical level, where she helps sort through trash from the upper levels and befriends Shirley. After struggling with her new position, she impresses the other workers by fixing a broken toy and begins working under Walker. In the present, Juliet continues exploring and follows the sound of music to the locked vault door in the IT department. After Juliet fails to open the door, a man on the other side warns her that if she tries again, he will kill her. 12-2 Order Michael Dinner Fred Golan November 22, 2024. Bernard watches Juliet's suit camera from inside the vault and sees her approach Silo 17 before it cuts off. As Juliet refused to clean, Bernard understands that her sign of defiance may lead to revolution. He places the deputies under Sim's command and sets a mandatory curfew to control the silo's population who are asking questions about Juliet's survival. Bernard tries to convince Meadows to aid him as he prepares to give a speech and has Walker and her ex-wife Carla locked up for smuggling Juliet the tape that sealed her suit. Shirley remains defiant and starts riling up people on the lower levels to demand answers while Knox tries to convince her to calm down, wanting to avoid a revolution and protect his people. Bernard gives his speech to the silo and claims that the IT department produced a new tape that allowed Juliet to survive longer, but remains adamant that she is dead, and Meadows endorses him. While the majority of the silo's population seemed pleased with the explanation, Shirley is unconvinced and organizes a secret meeting outside curfew. After Bernard thanks Meadows for her help, she demands to be given some tape and asks to go outside. 13-3 Solo Eric Avellino Cassie Pappas November 27, 2024. In Silo 17, the man introduces himself to Juliet as Solo. Juliet learns that dozens of silos exist and that her actions may cause a revolution in her silo. Solo struggles to connect with Juliet and gives her food before suggesting that she can use a firefighter's suit to go outside. Solo refuses to abandon the vault, but as Juliet leaves, he changes his mind and Juliet offers to help him to the upper levels. In Silo 18, the worker Teddy is arrested for leaving graffiti stating that Juliet lives. Sims offers an incarcerated Patrick a drug that will help him forget his deceased wife in exchange for a favor and recruits retired raiders to send down to the mechanical level. Shirley riles up a group of protesters and demands Teddy's release, but Patrick attacks the deputies, and in the chaos the rookie engineer Cooper is killed. Pete meets a woman who hopes to win a lottery that will allow her to have a child and defies orders not to remove her birth control by performing the procedure anyway. Billings interviews everyone present during Juliet's arrest and brings his report to Meadows, stating that Juliet never asked to go outside. 14.4 The Harmonium TBA Sal Caleros December 6, 2024. 15.5 TBA Jenny Dearmitstrand December 13, 2024. 16.6 TBA Jeffrey Wong December 20, 2024. 17.7 TBA Catherine Disavino December 27, 2024. 18.8 TBA Remy Abichan January 3, 2025. 19.9 TBA Jessica Blair January 10, 2025. 2010 TBA Bert 6 Eric Avellino January 17, 2025. Michael Dinner and Bert each directed episodes of the second season. 7.6 Bert directed 4 episodes, including the last episode. 6. Production. Development. The project's development was announced as a feature film at 20th Century Fox, which entered negotiations to acquire the self-published ebook Wool by Hugh Howey on May 11, 2012. 5 days later, 20th Century Fox acquired the rights, with Ridley Scott and Steven Zaillian among those attached to produce. 9 On November 28, it was announced that J. Blake Eason was in negotiations to write and direct. 10 It was then announced on June 5, 2015, that Nicole Perlman would rewrite the screenplay, with Blake Eason no longer involved in the project. 11 The film was ultimately shelved as a result of the acquisition of 21st Century Fox by Disney. 12. By July 30, 2018, a new iteration of the project was in development for television at AMC, with LaToya Morgan attached to write under her overall deal at AMC Studios. 13 The series eventually moved to Apple TV and on May 20, 2021, receiving an order for 10 episodes. Graham Yost replaced Morgan as creator and writer, marking his third series at Apple TV and under his overall deal with the network. Morton Tildum was also attached to direct and executive produce, with Yost as showrunner. 14 The show was renewed for a second season in June 2023. 1 In April 2024, Rebecca Ferguson stated in an interview that they are looking to shoot seasons 3 and 4 back-to-back, which would end the series. 15. Writing. Alongside Yost, Jessica Blair, Cassie Pappas, Ingrid Escajeda, Remy Abichan, Eric Avellino, Jeffrey Wong, Leke Theodalco, and Fred Golan served as writers. 5. Casting. With the series order announcement, it was also announced that Rebecca Ferguson had been cast in a lead role. 14 Tim Robbins joined the cast in August 2021. 16 And Rashida Jones, David Oyelowo, Common, Harriet Walter, Avi Nash and Chinaza Ush joined in the following months. 17 18 19 On July 27, 2024, it was announced at San Diego Comic-Con that Steve Zahn had joined the cast for the second season. 20. Filming. Principal photography began in late August 2021 in Hoddesdon, Hertfordshire, and was scheduled to last until the second quarter of 2022. 21 Mark Patton, David Luther, and Laurie Rose were cinematographers. 22 Gavin Bockett was the production designer, credited with the design of the silo. The main set consists of 3 levels of stairs decorated to represent particular locations. 23. The second season began filming in late June 2023 at Hoddesdon Studios, using the same set as Season 1. 24 Filming was officially suspended in July due to the 2023 SAG-AFTRA strike. 25 Filming restarted in early December 2023. 26 27 and wrapped on March 8, 2024. 28 Filming of Season 3 began in October 2024, also at Hoddesdon Studios, as well as at OMA 1 and OMA X Film Studios in Enfield, London. 29. Music. In March 2023, Atle Orvarsson was announced as the series' composer. He collaborated with Tildum on the Apple TV and series Defending Jacob. 30. Silo, Season 1, Apple TV and Original Series Soundtrack, 31. No. Title length. 1. Silo main title 139. 2. Irrevocable 310. 3. I want to go out 132. 4. Juliet 124. 5. Overheating 325. 6. Amazing Adventures 213. 7. Spoken Request 424. 8. The Syndrome 158. 9. Night Lights 228. 10. Unsee 248. 11. Time with You 304. 12. Dr. Nichols 346. 13. We Do Not Know 354. 14. Last Request 255. 15. Leaving the Silo 326. 16. They're Lying 212. 17. The Descent 241. 18. Race to the Top 204. 19. Chit Chat 251. 20. Under Control 227. Total length, 54:21. Release. Silo had its special screening during the 2023 Cannes series on April 14, 2023. 32. The television series premiered on Apple TV and on May 5, 2023, with the first 2 episodes available immediately and the rest airing on a weekly basis through June 30. 33. Reception. Critical response. For the first season, the review aggregator website Rotten Tomatoes reported an 88% approval rating with an average rating of 7.6/10, based on 68 critic reviews. The website's critics' consensus reads, with deft writing, awe-inspiring production design and the inestimable star power of Rebecca Ferguson, Silo is a mystery box well worth opening. 34. Metacritic, which uses a weighted average, assigned a score of 75 out of 100 based on 20 critics, indicating generally favorable reviews. 35. Richard Roper of Chicago Sun-Times wrote that the series holds our interest with intriguing characters and effective twists and turns, and took note of how Silo shifts gears through a number of genres, from conspiracy thriller to big-picture social commentary to police procedural to end-times romance. 36. Lucy Mangan of The Guardian opined that the world-building is meticulous and the story is equally thrilling. 37. Vanity Fair's Richard Lawson found the show to be a feat of production design, adding that Ferguson in all her stern command lends the series a necessary heft. 38. Barry Hertz of Globe and Mail also picked up Ferguson's performance as a standout. 39. Conversely, Brian Lowry of CNN believed that the inherent mystery feels stretched to the point of strained, exacerbated by characters that don't consistently pop. 40. The Hollywood Reporter's Daniel Feinberg also praised the world-building and Ferguson's performance, but was critical of the performance of Common, whom he termed the weak link in the cast. 41. For the second season, Rotten Tomatoes reported a 96% approval rating with an average rating of 8.10/10, based on 36 critic reviews. The website's critics' consensus reads, Rebecca Ferguson's intrepid hero seeks answers while the rest of Silo's ensemble capably holds down the fort in this superb sophomore season. 42. Metacritic assigned a score of 80 out of 100 based on 12 critics, indicating generally favorable reviews. 43. Accolades. Year Award Category Nominee, S. Result Ref. 2024 Art Directors Guild Awards Excellence in Production Design for a 1-hour fantasy single-camera series Gavin Bockett, For Machines, nominated 44. Black Reel Awards Outstanding Guest Performance in a Drama Series Rashida Jones nominated 45. British Academy Television Craft Awards Best Original Music, Fiction Atli Orvarsson 146. Best Production Design Gavin Bockett, Amanda Bernstein 1. Best Costume Design Charlotte Morris nominated. Best Special, Visual and Graphic Effects Daniel Rochwerger, Stefano Pepin, Richard Stanbury, Raphael Hamm, Ian Fellows nominated. British Society of Cinematographers GBCT Operators Award, Television Drama James Layton and Justin Hawkins 147-48. British Film Designers Guild Awards Best Production Design TV Band 3 and 4 Programs Amanda Bernstein, Gavin Bockett. Phil Harvey 149. Hollywood Music and Media Awards Best Original Score, TV show / limited series Atli Orvarsson nominated 50. Royal Television Society Craft and Design Awards Costume Design, Scripted Charlotte Morris nominated 51. Saturn Awards Best Science Fiction Television Series Silo nominated 52. Best New Genre Television Series nominated. Best Actress in a Television Series Rebecca Ferguson nominated. Satellite Awards Best Actress in a Drama or Genre Series nominated 53. Society of Composers and Lyricists Outstanding Original Title Sequence for a Television Production Atli Orvarsson nominated 54. References